Welcome to the deep dive. We try to cut through all the noise and bring you the most essential insights from sources you care about.
Get right to the heart of it.
Exactly. And today, wow, we're diving into a really fascinating concept drawn from a YouTube source titled, "When You're Thinking, You're Actually Listening."
Yeah, it sounds simple on the surface, doesn't it? But it goes surprisingly deep.
It really does. It could genuinely shift how you perceive your own mind. So our mission today, let's unpack this surprising truth about that internal voice.
Mm-hmm. The one we all know.
Yeah, the one that's always going, and how it kind of quietly orchestrates our whole experience. You know, the emotions we feel, the decisions we make. Let's get into it.
Because the source kicks off with this brilliant paradox, really. If you're hearing it, then who's doing the listening?
Whoa. Okay.
All right. It's a simple question, but it unlocks so much. So this deep dive will guide you through understanding that internal listener. We'll look at profound insights into your inner world, how you navigate emotions, make choices.
It's to experience life, basically.
Exactly. How you genuinely experience life. We're aiming for, quick but thorough understanding, especially for those times when your mind just feels like chaos.
Yeah, we've all been there. Even right now, as you're listening to us talk, there's probably another voice running commentary in your head.
Definitely. Analyzing, judging.
Or maybe planning what you're having for dinner later. Who knows? And most of us, we just assume that voice is us.
Right. That's the default assumption.
But the source challenges that. It makes this powerful distinction. You are not the voice. You are the awareness of. It uses this great analogy. Imagine you're in a movie theater, right? Trying to just watch the film. But the person next to you just will not stop whispering commentary the whole time.
Okay. I get that. Annoying.
Totally. Well, that constant whispering, that's your mind.
Yeah.
And you're the one trying to actually experience the movie, which is, your life.
And that inner voice, the source points out, it isn't inherently bad or wrong. It actually has this crucial evolutionary origin.
Oh, interesting. Like, it was useful.
Hugely useful. It evolved as a vital survival mechanism. Constantly scanning for threats, analyzing problems, calculating risks, keeping us alive.
Like the classic saber-toothed tiger example.
Exactly that.
Yeah.
Picture our ancestors facing a real physical threat like that. That voice kicks in immediately. Danger! Run! Climb that tree! Calculate escape routes. It was absolutely essential for survival.
Okay, so I had a job.
A critical one. But here's the rub. Where this ancient system creates modern problems. What saved us from predators back then? Well, now it often just becomes internal mental chaos.
Because there aren't saber-toothed tigers around every corner anymore.
Pretty much. That internal commentary is just running 24/7 now. And honestly, most of the threats it's trying to protect you from, they're completely fabricated in our minds. Social fears, work worries.
Yeah.
The source likens it to a smoke detector that goes off every single time you make toast.
That's perfect. It's doing its job technically, but it's wildly oversensitive for our current reality.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's not calibrated correctly anymore.
So how does this internal committee, as the source calls it, how does it actually work? What are the specific parts?
Yeah, the source breaks it down really well, gives these functions clear identities, makes them easier to spot. First up, there's the analyzer.
Okay, the analyzer, what is it?
This part just dissects every experience. Often, long after it's actually happened, you have a nice chat with a neighbor, and then later, the analyzer kicks in. Did I talk too much? Was that weird when I said that? Why did they look at their phone? Maybe they think I'm boring. It just picks everything apart relentlessly.
Oh, man, I recognize that one.
We all do. Then you got the critic. This one, well, it's harsh. Always finding flaws, pointing out inadequacies.
The inner judge.
Totally.
Yeah.
It loves comparing your worst moments to everyone else's curated highlight reel online.
Oh, yeah.
And it has this knack for dredging up ancient history, right?
Yeah.
Reminds you of that embarrassing thing you did in 7th grade just when you need confidence, like before a job interview.
Its favorite phrase must be, "You should have."
Bingo. Always focusing on what you supposedly did wrong or what wasn't good enough. Always setting these impossible standards.
Okay, analyzer, critic. Who else is on this lovely committee?
Well, there's the planner. This one lives entirely in the future tense. Endless to-do lists, contingency plans for everything.
Worry scenarios.
Exactly. Worry scenarios are its specialty. It tries to convince you that if you just think through every single possible outcome, you can somehow control everything.
Which keeps you awake at night.
Precisely. Keeps you up planning conversations that may never even happen. And finally, rounding out the group, we have the replayer.
The replayer. Sounds ominous.
It kind of is. It just runs past events on this endless loop, often really insignificant moments. But it treats them like major dramas, like a broken record player, stuck on maybe a slightly awkward comment you made.
And it adds its own spin, right?
Oh, yeah. The source says it enhances them with dramatic music and slow motion effect. Makes a tiny social stumble feel like some epic failure.
Wow. Okay, so analyzer, critic, planner, replayer. That's
Yeah.
quite the team in there.
It is. And they're constantly busy.
And the real kicker, according to the source, is how this whole system gets its power, right? It feeds on your attention like a fire feeds on oxygen.
That's the core mechanism. Every time you engage with those stories, try to argue with the critic, or endlessly refine the planner's scenarios, or relitigate the past with the replayer.
You're just fueling it, making it stronger.
Exactly. This internal chatter thrives on keeping you busy, 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 thinking, planning, worrying, regret. And meanwhile,
actual life is just unfolding moment by moment, and you're missing it because you're stuck on that mental treadmill.
Precisely. It's an exhausting cycle designed to keep you occupied.
Okay, so that sounds pretty bleak. Is there a way out?
Yes. And this is the truly liberating part the source offers. The realization is you are not required to be the audience for every show your mind wants to perform.
You don't have to watch every movie it plays.
You don't. This introduces what the source calls the observer's gap, that crucial space between you, the aware presence, and your thought. That's where choice lives.
The space. How do you find that?
It's about noticing. The source suggests a quick exercise act, just for, say, the next 30 seconds. Simply notice what your mind is doing. Don't judge it. Don't try to fix it or change it. Just observe.
Like watching clouds drift by.
Exactly like that.
Yeah.
That act of noticing, that awareness of the mental chatter without getting swept away by its drama, that, the source says, is your superpower.
Oh, okay.
It's the difference between being trapped inside the chaotic movie and realizing you're actually just sitting in the theater, free to disengage from the screen whenever you choose.
And this idea, the observer's gap, it must be huge when it comes to emotions, right?
Absolutely transformational. The source reveals something quite startling for many people. Most of the emotional pain you carry around isn't actually from what happened to you.
Okay.
It's from your refusal to let it go.
Wow. That's provocative. We think holding on to pain shows we care, or that it's respectful somehow.
Right. But this perspective suggests it can actually be one of our most self-destructive habits. Emotions, naturally, are dynamic. They're like waves, they rise, they crest, they recede.
But we don't let them recede.
Often, no. We've learned to grab onto them, try to freeze them, replay the hurt, rehearse the anger, zerse the grievance.
Which just keeps it alive.
It does. Think about the example the source gives of Sarah, who got some criticism from her boss. The actual event, maybe 2 minutes long.
Okay, brief.
But Sarah replayed that conversation in her head for 3 weeks, imagining comebacks, rehashing future fights.
Oh, I've done that.
We all have. And each time she replayed it, her body actually responded as if the criticism was happening right then and there. Heart racing, stomach tightening.
So she was basically re-traumatizing herself.
In essence, yes. Long after the initial event was over. The key difference between feeling an emotion and being imprisoned by it often comes down to identification.
Meaning?
Saying, I am angry means you merge with the anger. It becomes your identity in that moment. But saying, I notice anger is present.
Ah, that creates space. The observer's gap again.
Exactly. It allows you to remember you are the observer, the container, not the emotion itself.
Okay, so if you're caught in that loop, what can you actually do? The source must have some practical advice.
It does. A really useful exercise.
Yeah.
Next time you feel triggered by a strong emotion, resist the urge to immediately fix it or analyze why you feel that way.
Feel it.
First, locate it in your body. Where is it? Is it heat in your chest, tightness in your throat, a knot in your stomach?
Well, both.
Its texture, its temperature, its weight. Just observe it with neutral curiosity.
Okay.
Then maybe even speak silently directly to that sensation. I see you, I feel you, and I release you.
Acknowledging it, then letting it go.
It's a conscious choice. Acknowledge it fully, without judgment, and then choose not to keep carrying it forward indefinitely.
But why is it so hard to let go sometimes? We resist it.
That's a great question. The source suggests a few reasons. Sometimes we unconsciously believe our pain defines us, gives us identity, or we fear that releasing it means forgetting something important, or maybe even dishonoring the past experience.
It's like if I let go of the anger, it means what happened didn't matter.
Right, that kind of fear. But the source emphasizes that true healing doesn't dishonor the past. It integrates, it transforms the pain into wisdom, into learning.
Integration, not erasure.
Exactly. And a powerful, simple tool for this release, highlighted in the source, is your breath, specifically conscious breathing patterns.
Like counting breaths.
Yeah, try this. Breathe in gently for a count of 4. Hold the breath softly for 4 count, and then exhale slowly, really slow, for 6 count.
In for 4, hold 4, out for 6, longer exhale.
Yes. That extended exhale is key. It actively engages your parasympathetic nervous system, your body's natural rest and digest system. It literally signals to your body that it's safe, that the threat is past, and it's okay to release tension.
That makes physiological sense.
Okay.
That's a really practical.
It really is.
So moving from emotions, let's talk about another big illusion the source tackles. This belief that we can actually control outcomes.
Ah, yes. The illusion of control. Huge one.
We've all done it, haven't we? You rehearse that important conversation with your boss like a dozen times in your head. You know exactly what you're going to say.
You'll have the whole script memorized.
And then you walk into their office and they hit you with something totally unexpected. Like the company's restructuring or your project's canceled, boom.
And your perfect script is suddenly useless.
And completely irrelevant. All that mental energy planning for one outcome, waste.
And this deep need for control, it's not just, a modern quirk. It's wired really deep from our survival instincts.
Back to the caveman days again.
Pretty much. For millennia, humans who could predict patterns, influence their environment, control resources, they were simply more likely to survive and pass on their gene. Control equaled survival.
Makes sense back then.
But now, in our incredibly complex, interconnected, fast-changing modern world, it creates what the source called a cruel paradox.
So?
We're trying to apply these ancient Stone Age control instincts to navigate a quantum age reality. We're trying to control things that are fundamentally uncontrollable. And it just leaves us feeling perpetually anxious, frustrated, and often miserable.
The source has that analogy, right, about the security guard.
Yeah, the guard who insists on personally inspecting every single grain of sand on an entire beach to make sure you're safe.
It's exhausting just thinking about it, and ultimately futile.
Exactly. The mental effort is immense, and it's an impossible task. It just burns you out.
So where does this urge to control show up most often in our lives?
Oh, everywhere. The source points out common areas. Relationships are a big one. Trying to manage how other people feel or react, trying to prevent any conflict.
Yeah, trying to control someone else's feelings never work.
Never. Then there's career burning ourselves out, trying to control every single detail of a project, often micromanage. Health, too. Getting obsessed with tracking every metric, thinking that gives us ultimate control over our bodies.
Even trying to control our own thoughts and feelings. Which is ironic, given what we discussed.
Massively ironic. The more we desperately grasp for control over things outside our actual influence, the more stressed and powerless. It's like being in a strong river and constantly fighting against the current.
Instead of learning to swim with it.
Precisely. Learning to align yourself with the flow, navigate with the current, using its energy instead of fighting it. That's where skillful action.
So what's a practical way to shift this? How do we loosen that grip?
The source suggests a simple but powerful practice. It's about consciously declaring and trying to live by this principle. I control what I can, and I let go of what I can't.
Okay, sounds simple, but the letting go part is hard. What can we actually?
You can control your effort, your attitude, your preparation, your choices, your responses to things, how you treat people. Those are within your sphere.
And what can't we control?
Other people's reactions or opinions. Unexpected events, market fluctuations, traffic jams, the weather, the exact timing of when things happen. Getting really honest about what truly falls into each category is incredibly freeing.
Just that act of sorting it out could reduce a lot of stress.
A huge amount. It stops you wasting energy fighting unwinnable battles.
Okay. Now this ties into another concept, the source, protective walls.
Yes, closely related to control. The source uses Sarah again, the one who had the difficult boss. It also mentions a painful relationship betrayal she experienced.
Ah, okay, so what happened?
After that betrayal, she understandably built these huge emotional walls around herself. She thought, never again, I won't let anyone hurt me like that. She saw it as being strong, self-protective.
Which makes sense emotionally.
It does, initially. But the source points out the painful irony. Those walls, built to keep pain out, also ended up keeping out all the good stuff.
Like what?
Like intimacy, genuine connection, and yes, love itself. These invisible defenses, meant to create safety, ultimately became her prison, isolated.
So there's a difference between walls and boundary.
A crucial difference the source highlights.
Mm-hmm.
Healthy boundaries are conscious, flexible choices you make about what is and isn't acceptable treatment based on self-respect. They protect your well-being while still allowing connection.
Like saying, I need you to speak to me respectfully.
Exactly. That's a boundary. Protective walls, on the other hand, are usually rigid, fear-based reactions stemming from past hurt. They're often unconscious. A wall doesn't say speak respectfully. It says, I won't get close enough to anyone for their words to even matter.
Wow. One protects, the other isolates.
Precisely. The wall shuts down the possibility of a connection altogether to avoid any potential hurt.
And the insight here from the source is pretty stark. Vulnerability isn't weakness. It's the birthplace of everything we claim to want.
Think about it. Joy, creativity, innovation, trust, love, true belonging. None of that can really flourish behind rigid walls. It requires some degree of openness, of vulnerability.
So how do you start taking down those walls if they feel necessary for safety?
The source advises starting small. Start small with vulnerability. You don't have to suddenly confess your deepest secrets. Maybe just share one specific thing you're genuinely excited or passionate about.
Or one honest feeling you're having, even if it feels a bit exposed.
Exactly. Share something authentic, even in a small way. Each time you do that and the world doesn't end, you're proving to your own nervous system that openness doesn't always lead to disaster. You're retraining yourself.
Building trust and vulnerability itself.
Yes, little by little.
Okay, this is fascinating. Now, the source brings up something really surprising about the heart.
Yeah, this is mind-blowing for many people.
Yeah.
The source states that your heart actually contains approximately 40,000 neurons, specialized cells that function like brain cells.
40,000 neurons in the heart, not just muscle.
Not just muscle. It's sometimes called the heart brain. The source refers to this as heart intelligence. And get this, your heart actually sends more signals to your brain than your brain sends back down to your heart.
Whoa. So the heart is talking to the brain more than the brain talks to the heart.
That's what the research suggests. It's been trying to communicate with you, guide you your whole life through feelings, intuition, resonance.
Which explains why decision-making feels different sometimes, depending on whether you listen to your head or your heart.
Exact. The source highlights this distinction beautifully. Your mind tends to ask, what makes sense? What's logic? What's the safe bet?
The pros and cons list.
Right. Your heart, though, asks different questions. What feels alive? What truly resonates? What aligns with my deepest values? What brings me joy?
They can lead to very different answers.
Very different. The source brings back Sarah, agonizing for months about leaving her secure corporate job to start her own, much riskier business.
Head screaming no, probably.
Gladly. Every logical metric, every spreadsheet screamed, too risky, stay put. But she couldn't shake this feeling, this inner knowing. Something inside me knows this is what I need to do, she felt.
She listened to her heart.
Eventually, yes. And when she finally made the decision from that place of heart knowing, despite the fear, the source says everything started to shift. Things fell into place.
So how do we tap into that? How do we learn to listen to our heart's intelligence more?
Well, the source talks about living from a heart closed versus a heart open state. Fear, stress, anxiety, these literally cause the heart field to contract physiologically.
Okay.
But you can consciously shift this. Try this simple exercise right now. Just place your hand gently over your heart. Take a couple of easy breaths. Now, think of someone or something you genuinely love or deeply appreciate. A person, a pet, a beautiful place.
Okay, got it.
Really feel that warmth, that feeling of appreciation or love beginning to blossom right there in your chest, under your hand. Now, imagine that warmth gently expanding outwards from your heart, filling your chest, maybe even radiating out around you.
That does feel.
It creates a measurable shift. Doing this practice regularly actually changes your heart rhythm pattern, making it more coherent and balanced. It literally opens the channel to your heart's wisdom.
Wow. And this connects to living in the present, right? That's another big theme.
Directly. This heart-centered way of being naturally brings you into present time. Because the source argues, quite compellingly, you're living most of your life in a time that doesn't actually exist.
Meaning the past year.
Exactly. It uses that classic image.
Oh.
Someone sitting in a lovely cafe, maybe eating a delicious meal.
But they're just mechanically shoveling food in while scrolling endlessly on the...
Right. Physically present, but mentally. Completely absent. Lost in thought, worry, planning, or rehash. Missing the actual experience of their life as it happens.
Guilty is charged sometimes. Why do we do that so much?
There's neuroscience behind it.
Yeah.
Your brain has what's called the default mode now. It's the part that's active when you're not focused on a specific external task. And its job, evolutionarily speaking, was to scan the past for lessons learned and scan the future for potential threats or opportunities.
Again, useful for survival back then.
Very. But in modern life, where immediate physical survival isn't the main daily concern, that same survival mechanism is now keeping us trapped. It treats anxieties about next week's presentation with the same intensity as it would a predator lurking nearby.
So it keeps us constantly bouncing between regret or nostalgia for the past and anxiety or fantasy about the future.
Precisely. The source shares a really poignant personal story about realizing during their daughter's childhood that they had missed huge chunks of her actually being a kid because their mind was always elsewhere, worrying about her future, planning activities, analyzing her development.
Oh, that hits hard, missing the moment.
It does. So how do we come back? The source offers practical tools called presence anchors.
Anchors to the now.
Super simple things. Try it right now. Just stop for a second. And notice, without judgment, just notice what you can actually see around you. What sounds can you actually hear? What physical sensations can you feel in your body right now? The chair beneath you, the air on your skin.
Taking in the raw sensory data.
Exactly. Not your thoughts about it, just the direct experience. Or you can build in micro moments of presence throughout your day. Like when I brush my teeth, I'm actually going to feel the brisk taste of the toothpaste.
Instead of planning your day while brushing.
Right. Or when I'm walking from my car to the office, I'll actually feel my feet hitting the pavement. These small acts are revolutionary. They're acts of reclaiming your life from the autopilot.
Powerful. Okay, this leads naturally into if we're present, maybe we can...
It definitely, the source talks about the mask, or maybe masks plural.
The different personas we adopt.
Yeah. Subtly woven over years and years of learning what gets us approval, acceptance, or avoids criticism in different situations. You might not even notice it consciously, but the source points out how your voice changes when you're with your family versus your colleague.
Oh, yeah. Different tones, different vocabulary even.
You become the responsible professional, the funny friend, the dutiful child. We learn to shapeshift depending on the audience.
And that constant shape-shifting, as the source calls it must be exhausting.
It takes a tremendous amount of mental and emotional energy. And over time, it causes us to lose touch with our own center. We become like these method actors playing all these roles, and eventually we can forget who the actual person is underneath all the costumes.
So what's the alternative? Radical honesty all the time? That sounds messy.
No, the source is clear on this. Authenticity isn't the same as emotional dumping or having no filter. That's not helpful.
Okay, good.
It's more about sharing your truth in ways that honor both yourself and the people around. It requires discernment, and that, in turn, requires genuine self-awareness.
Knowing your own truth first.
Exactly. Which comes from practices like maybe journaling, meditation, honest self-reflection, asking yourself, what do I actually think? What do I actually feel? What do I truly value? Separate from what I think I should think or feel.
The fear, of course, is rejection. If people see the real me, they won't like me.
That's the core fear. But the source offers a powerful counter. Relationships built on performances, on masks, aren't actually relationships with you. They're relationships with the mask. Is that what you really want?
Point taken. Okay, so being authentic, being present, this all sounds like it leads towards some kind of inner peace, maybe.
It does. The source uses this wonderful metaphor, the eye of the hurricane.
I like that.
All around you, the wind is howling, life is chaotic, things are happening, but where you stand, right in the center, there's complete stillness.
So stillness isn't about life becoming calm.
Not necessarily. True stillness, as the source describes it, isn't the absence of feeling or noise or activity. It's not about checking out or going numb. It's a quality of aware presence that can hold space for whatever is happening, the good, the bad, the difficult, without being completely overwhelmed or swept away by it.
Finding that calm center amidst the storm.
Precisely. The source mentions Sarah again, the friend going through the difficult divorce. For months, every lawyer's email, every difficult conversation just plunged her into a panic spiral. Total hurricane.
Understandable.
But gradually through practice, she learned to find and access her witness self, that part of her, the observer, that could watch the chaos unfold without being entirely consumed by it. She could still feel the sadness or the anger, but it didn't completely define her anymore.
She found the eye of her own hurricane. How? What helped?
Practical tools. Simple things like just consciously taking 3 deep breaths whenever she felt overwhelmed, or doing a quick body scan, just noticing sensations in her feet, hands, shoulders, to anchor herself back in the present moment when her mind started racing.
So these aren't about becoming passive or disconnected.
Not at all. The source stresses this. Finding that inner stillness actually allows you to make clearer decisions and respond more effectively to challenges, precisely because you're not reacting purely from fear or panic. You have perspective.
Okay, so we've covered a lot. The inner voice, emotions, control, heart intelligence, present, authenticity, stillness. Where does this all?
It leads to understanding that this journey, this awakening, as the source sometimes frames it, isn't a graduation ceremony. It's not a one-time event where you suddenly arrive.
So you don't just get your enlightenment certificate and you're done.
That'd be nice. No, the source emphasizes that living with this kind of authentic freedom, this present, is a daily practice, a moment-by-moment choice.
Freedom isn't a destination you reach, but how you travel.
Beautifully put.
Yes.
It's a state of being you choose again. The source uses a lovely analogy of learning to play jazz. You have to first learn the scales, the chords, the techniques, like all these practices we've discussed. That's the foundation. But the real magic of jazz happens when you stop consciously thinking about every single note and you just start to improvise, responding authentically to the music, creating something beautiful in the moment.
So these practices become the foundation for living more freely, more spontaneously.
Exactly. They build the capacity for it.
But let's be real, the challenges don't just disappear overnight, right? The source acknowledges that.
Absolutely. The challenges are real and persistent. Social pressures to conform, to put the mask back on, they don't vanish. And our own ingrained habit. Well, your brain has been running certain programs for decades.
Those neural pathways are deep. Very deep.
Recognizing them is huge. That's the first step. But it doesn't mean they magically stop running immediately. It takes consistent, conscious effort to choose different.
So how do we sustain this practice in the middle of a busy, demanding life? Any final tips?
Yeah, a couple of practical strategies for ongoing integration. One is setting random presence reminder. Maybe just an alarm on your phone that goes off a few times a day with a simple question. Am I here right now, or am I somewhere else in my head?
A quick check-in.
Just a gentle nudge back to the present. Another great one is using awareness cues during like every time you walk through a doorway or sit down or stand up, just use that physical shift as a trigger to pause for 1 second, take one conscious breath, and reconnect with your body.
Weaving awareness into the fabric of the day.
Exact. These micro moments really add up. They build that muscle of presence over time.
And the payoff isn't just personal peace, is it? The source mentions ripple effects.
Huge ripple effects. When you start showing up more authentically, when you stop performing and start genuinely connecting, it changes everything. Your relationships become more real, maybe challenging at first, but ultimately more fulfilling. Your work can become more creative, less driven by fear. Your freedom, as the source says, actually becomes contagious in the most beautiful way.
Inspiring others just by being more present yourself.
It really can.
So it seems the final message is one of potential.
Definitely. The source concludes by powerfully reminding us that your essential nature, that core awareness, that observing self, is unshakable. It's always there beneath the mental noise. So the real question isn't whether you can be free.
Because that freedom is already inherent.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The question is whether you'll choose to remember and live from that deeper.
Wow. Okay. Thank you for walking us through all of that. It's been a really insightful deep dive in, ourselves. We've gone from just noticing that voice in our head to understanding emotional freedom, the illusion of control, listening to the heart, and why just being present is so revolutionary.
It's fundamental stuff, really. Life-changing if you engage with it.
Absolutely. So as we wrap up, we want to leave you, our listeners, with a final provocative thought to mull over, building on everything we've explored today from the source.
Yet consider this. If our deepest human desire is often said to be truly seen and truly loved for who we are, yet, as we've discussed, we constantly hide behind masks, perform roles, and cling tightly to old pains and defenses. Then what might be the real cost of all that perceived safety we're chasing?
What are we actually losing by trying so hard to protect ourselves?
Exactly. And conversely, what extraordinary possibilities in connection and joy and purpose might be waiting for us if we simply dare, even just a little bit more often, to drop the act?
Something powerful to think about. We really encourage you to ponder that and maybe even experiment with just one of the simple practices we talked about today. See what happens.
Just notice.
Just notice. Until next time, keep diving deep.